Hiya cats and kittens! Welcome back to my channel. Today we are playing Seul alone, the entree. And the light from us to you. What are these options? And right now Ave Maria is playing and I'm trying really hard not to cry. Oh, how? Wait, let's plan the light. Whoa! What's from us to you? Oh. First of all, thank you for purchasing, which I didn't purchase. I was given the key. It's a much appreciated and very humbling to share this personal project with you and receive your attention and support. There is also Seul Alone the Day Before, available now for free on most stores, so check it out, which I will. The story is expanded through a prequel to this. This is a choose-your-own adventure-style interactive novella. Is a work of fiction. Any references, including images and sounds to real people, events, establishments, organizations, or locales, are intended only to give the fiction a sense of reality and authenticity. Other names, images, sounds, characters, and incidents are either the product of the author's imagination or are used fictitiously, as are those fictionalized events and incidents which involve real persons and did not occur, are set in the future or separated timeline. All images within the game are taken from the circa via Flickr and hold no known copyright restrictions. If there are any problems or infringements, we will remove the content based on updates. Okay. Opening music is Alessandro Morecci singing Ave Maria, the last cantata. It started off as Play in the Dark, so let's start. New Soul. It is about to begin again. Shh, I know. Well, how far do you think? Not very. Now keep quiet, would you? We're about to begin. Tumble out. Looking for something? Oh, I didn't know this is how things were going. Maybe I should have done, because I keep scrolling off screen. Everything is black, but it feels thick, almost blankety. Complete darkness totally surrounds you, and all you can feel is the hard floor beneath your feet. It is smooth and polished, and you're sure of that. The darkness can be felt against your skin, like it has solidity to it in some way. There are no sounds or smells, but you feel if it were there, they would have to work slightly harder to move through this velvet veil of blackness. You hear a lady with a soft, silky voice. Looking for something, darling? Wait, where am I? Or stay silent and feel your way around. I don't know. Let's do, wait, what? Where am I? 'Cause that's probably something I would literally do. Alright. Remember, oh, darling, you're back where you've been before, but never happened to stay too long. You always seem to have your mind made up and bags packed. Come to think of it, her voice does have a familiar feeling. Is this a dream? So is this a dream, or what is your name? Do we want to know the familiar lady's voice, or do we want to know if this is a dream? Veils of blackness sound like a dream. Is this a dream? Oh, that's little kittens on rocking chairs. That's adorably creepy. I want this photo. A light begins to glow a few feet in front of you. 3 cats sit upon rocking chairs. The female voice begins, well, of course, darling. It's where everything comes in a fully unconnected circle, where 3 is 1. Do you ever listen to a song for that one part? This is that part where it all unfolds in on itself. What? You think to yourself? Oh, darling, you should rub your eyes now. I guess rub my eyes. I'm awake, I hope. Everything comes into focus, almost pushing the darkness away. It's her, the voice. She's slumped in the chair looking at you almost as though she's watching you without any interest. Hello? The door just opened. Like she's seen a familiar face she knows all too well, almost completely knowing you. Okay, let's continue. Emiliana's the name, darling. Nice to meet you. She smirks coyishly as if knowing something you do not. Don't you want to know my name? It's a pleasure to meet you. May I call you Liana? I feel like I know you. It's so strange. Let's do that. We don't need to have our name. Well, darling, I would imagine so. After all, the things you've done to me, she smiles flirtatiously. Done to you? Have I gone and romanced this lady? I'm speaking her accent with this. Have I gone and romanced this lady up? Yes, done to me, over and over again. The games we played, the pain you caused me, the pleasure, oh darling, the pleasure. She breathes deeply, slowly pushing her chest out, sinking even more into her chair. She closes her eyes, her hands move down towards her knees and slither up towards her inner thighs. I think you have me confused with somebody else. Maybe she's crazy, but this is too good to turn down. Nope, you're confused, lady. I have never met you before in my life. She opens her eyes and looks you up and down, studying every single inch. Her eyes and face all of a sudden switch from seductress to stranger. She quickly sits herself up while straightening her clothes and lifting her neckline slightly higher. Oh, I see now. Her voice is sharper and more strange, less breezy, and more businesslike. She keeps staring at you, but her eyes stay transfixed on yours, searching, studying, weighing your soul, all through your eyes, although all through a stare. After a short while, which actually felt a lot longer than it was, she breaks her stare and the faintest smile emerges just below the stillness that disappears just as smoothly. Like a large lake fish slowly and calmly rising to the surface to gulp down a piece of floating food, then heading back into the cool depths. Yes, yes, I see now, darling. You have a reader with you. Well, I can't help you with much. Not in the state you are in. There's no fun to be had now. Perhaps next time, maybe. I think you'd best be on your ways, and I have other things to worry about. But it was good seeing you, darling. I'll be seeing you next time. Okay, then. Let's move on further into the darkness. You walk on for some time, mainly just listening and waving your arms before you in order not to walk face first into anything. But you notice this is starting to gain longer breaks between each arm wave, like your brain is getting used to the fact that there is nothing in front of you. Every now and then, a bit of fear pops back into your mind, that there could be a wall or sudden drop in front of you, so slow, caution slows your movement, then relaxes again after some time. This is exhausting, you think to yourself. Then a light pulses dimly just ahead, like being lost at a sea, and finally noticing the light emerging from the lighthouse after being misplaced at sea for days. The light offers hope and salvation. You move towards it, but slowly and cautiously with serene calm. It could be the exhaustion, or it could be precaution. It's too hard to tell, but one thing you already know, it's in this place. Sometimes the land can be more treacherous than the sea of blackness. Walk over to the light? Stick to the darkness and move away from the light? Hey, reader, yeah, you pick this option. Fourth wall breaking? Fourth wall breaking. Everything freezes. Your character, the darkness, even though it's dark, you feel it all becomes still. So still, in fact, that you seem to be here, but also out there, or in there, or more just where you happen to be at this very moment. Text and sounds, noises are all that follow. The sounds carry themselves on, pre-recorded, echoing of what's something before, but drifting on, letting go, ejecting you, making you once again aware of yourself and your surroundings. What self do I speak of? The voice inside of you, of course. Surroundings, well, where you are at this very moment. Quick, do me a favor, look up and around. Uh-huh. Ooh, I wish I could see what you are seeing at this very moment. How good it would be to have that ability, don't you think? Funkos, DVD collection, computer, screen, monitor, video game, masks. But let's get back to that inner voice. You know, the one reading, can you hear it? Have you ever studied it? Really, I mean, really listen to your voice. The truest narration of all these happenings of fiction, but somehow a solid world within your mind, following letters to words to voice, your voice and my words. Where'd it go? There you go. It's in here where you are truly soul alone that I now address, and most important that you begin to listen to it more often, especially when it begins to wander off by itself. That's where the magic is, you know. Funny, I was soul alone when I wrote this, and I happened to just be listening as it began to wander, so I recorded what it said. But that was before, who knows how long before. But now you have a past me with a present you. Don't worry, I'm merely a specter now. Words from a phantom. I wonder what I'm doing right now, that present me, if I'm still around even. Don't you wish you could tap in through the semi-connection we are having and be able to see what I am seeing at this very moment? How cool would that ability be to have, don't you think? Oh well, on we go. Let's introduce a voice, a character, another piece of the story, another fragment to unfold. Forget we know you were ever here, and let's continue. 1, 2, 3. Hi! A whispered voice comes from the jet black surrounding you. You feel comfortable like something slipped. It could have just been the startle. Thinking as you stand, reflexes at the ready, looking every which way, only that one light in the distance glows and hums, waiting and daring not to move a muscle, other than your head darting around with the upper torso following fluidly, like a dancing cobra emerging from a clay pot, defensively trying to cover all angles of potential attack. The light darts across and against the direction of your vision, and peripheral as if it was a firefly mixed with the straightened speed of a shooting star. It disappears as you look behind you, leaving streaked patterns to your vision, peering into the black wall at the face-to-face distance. Don't worry, I'm not here to harm. I have no intention of that, nor do I trust you, the voice whispers. The voice sounds male, but weak and polite. I noticed you, and by the looks of things, you are new here. Hard to pin down or locate at all. You stand at the ready. For some reason, you find yourself looking downwards and a few feet ahead at waist height, as if this voice is coming from someone at child's tallness. What do you want then? You whisper back, having no reason to be whispering, but you do anyway. If I can just focus, just notice some movement or silhouette, I could size this thing up. And if it's small like I'm thinking, I'm gonna grab this little fucker. Thinking while peering as hard as possible, studying every patch of black your eyes locked onto. The corner of your vision can still see the twinkle of the light in the distance. I won't be staying long. I have to keep moving around here. Remember that, wanderer? See, I noticed you were new, and you seem decent. It's a risk, but folks need help too, so that's a risk I'm willing to take. And if I feel safe, that is. What the actual fuck is this place? The voice feels less threatening after listening, and you forget about trying to attack it. Still guarded through you, wait for a response and quickly dart a look over to the light. There are some places out of here, in other places, even familiar places, a room in a room in your home, even your own bedroom, wherever you are nested with intimate and recognizable objects that you have decorated, some with meaning, some with appeal, but nevertheless safe environment, protective, sheltering you from the rest of the world, separating or good, God forbid, even your own prison if the circumstances fail. if the circumstances fall in that direction, but solidarity and confine behind those closed doors. Yeah, I wished for a life of me I could remember that for myself. Lights on, there are still small areas within the very room that are pretty much all the same absence of light. Nooks, crannies, corners, underneaths, and behinds, they hold dusty realms of forgotten things and undefinables. Lights off as the familiar objects ever slightly reform and twist just enough that they seem to become a little less known to you. A coat rack becomes a gaunt figure. A stretched shadow seems to be reaching forward. A picture on the wall holds faces of loved ones, but they seem somehow disfigured or conjoined. A pile of clothes becoming a small man sitting on a chair. This is when those small, ever dark areas breach and reach out. Boundaries begin to fade, spreading outwardly, covering, invading once was familiar. That ever dark in its blackest center is where soul sits. Stare long enough, and with patience and curiosity, as sleep begins to overpower you, you will see what I say is true as the door hinges, loosens, and the locks undo. Soul opens up. Let's go. The voice cuts you off. I have helped with what I know. There is nothing more. You understand a little further now. I've played my part. We may bump into each other again. Plus, I think you have a light you were planning on heading to. Sometimes you need to unfold all the options to find more answers. Best of luck with you. Wait! Nothing as you stand there, somehow feeling the presence of the voice has already moved on just as quickly as it came. Despondent with no way to give chase, you turn your attention to the pulsating light and begin to meander towards it, onwards. Hi, armless man. I feel like these are old school, like, freak show photos and stuff like that. What in the hell? As you move closer, you realize the light wasn't pulsating at all, just swinging back and forth. Slowly coming to a standstill, it now just sits above a man with no arms, sitting on an old cane and a wood chair. He is staring right into your direction, but it seems as though there has been no notice of you yet. You are still in the darkness, just on the boundary of view. I know you're out there, he yells. Walk into the light or step further. Let's just talk to the man. You step into the light. It feels surprisingly warm for some reason. You smell menthol and mint. The man is breathing steadily. He still hasn't made eye contact with you yet. His head is slightly tilted as if he's listening intently. You shuffle one of your feet to make a sound. He turns his head towards you. You realize Yes, I'm blind, he states, beating you to the thought as if he knew the shuffle of the foot was a test by the stranger before him, and armless, in case you didn't notice. A foxy smirk slips across his face as his head juts upwards. He has a gentlemanly voice, young but stern, and he seems to be in a good mood, and you feel relaxed around him for unknown reason. There are no walls around you, but the paneling of the darkness has this way of making you feel as though, when stepping into the light, it's like stepping into another room with divisions, and inside and outside the works, all the rules of physics a room comes with. Odd, you think to yourself, as you quickly glance the surroundings. There's the cane chair he's sitting on, and the floor is polished dark red wood with heavy grains across it. The deep yellow light bouncing off the floor gives the atmosphere a thick wine red look to it all. It tans the man. He seems calm and cool, almost like a skin-toned brushstroke at the center of a canvas completely monotoned with this warm red. His pants in the chair are almost the same shade as the floor. He almost looks like a torso with a head floating in the space. His pants are dark khaki and he is wearing blackish reddish boots. He is a tall and gaunt if he stood up. He would lurch over me probably. Walking the darkness, I see what brings you over to me. I see, what an odd thing to say. The darkness, yes. Where is this place? Well, it's not that dark in here, is it? For me, it's the dark everywhere, but a different depths of gloom. It's the nothingness with a lot of something, someones, and somewheres. I didn't invite you. You must be a drifter or lost, or both. You better keep lost, drifter, for everyone's sake. Never stop, never become still. Being still isn't your part to play in here. It's not the way things work. But then again, rules are meant to be broken, to be played, till you question their existence. And all I can say all I can say is don't leave your world here. There is no need to crash and burn. Crash and burn? Yes, it is the reality of things, I suppose. A reality of things. What is... He pauses for a long while, then he smiles, but not with his foxy wry smile. It holds a more understanding expression, an expression knowing that answers are needed. Perhaps reality is the best way to phrase things. Sometimes one reality fades and another reality may blend through, filling the first reality's pores, but other times they don't. Other times they exist with each other, held together by the need to just exist, rubbing shoulders, hugging one another, or at the worst of circumstances, battling one another where only one can ever be triumphant. It is at these times a fight for survival turns ugly, where one must eat the other who succumbs. I've seen this ugliness, I've been this ugliness. This ugliness is not just a state of mind, it is a necessity. Here, a mechanic of the workings, a rule of survival. Love-hate relationships, but relationships nonetheless, all destined to set each other on fire at some point, lusting for each other like colliding galaxies. Then another may be born, making it three, from Seul to Les Crumbs, and over then to over there. Sometimes, though, it's just a vacant lot awaiting construction to begin. A joke set in a room of unhappy individuals left to linger and dry in the center of the room, then go on its way where it pleases, because it realizes within its own existence that it is not welcome there. Some sell themselves to the highest bidder, some, well, they just fade away, move on, burn themselves out. Perhaps they are the smart ones. You notice his stature change, an air of seriousness fills the room. Even the light in the room seems to slightly warm and darken, adding a dense of gloom as he leans back against his chair. Long and tall, chest and ribs exposed, lay bare. Human's existence is a lonely. He sighs and blindly stares at you. It's tasteless and dull, full of negativity. Subordinates sitting below that big fiery ball. Who gets to decide things, anything, all things, and when decisions are made, who gets to enforce it? Should it entail surrendering all freedom? Is that the answer? Place ourselves in the decider's hands, the reader's, or in the baker's hands and hope the decider or the baker knows what's best for us. Why trust either of them? Ha! It's blind faith in the whole truth. He shifts slightly, and you feel yourself do the same, like someone yawning across the room, and you in turn suddenly need to stretch your mouth. Maybe thanks to the duality, one did not actually come before the others, and one is therefore not stronger than the other. So maybe, just maybe, the decided possibility even existed before the decision was even grappled with to begin with. If duality is the case, then they're all going to end up polarized in one extreme or the other. The cynics will lean towards the negativity, the optimists lean towards the positive. Ha! Really, neither of them is more correct than the other. In fact, they are both equally incorrect. All they are really doing is playing favoritism games. If one recognizes the whole for what it is, then it is plain to see that it's getting caught up in the either pole position is really not the place to be. He leans in, and although you know he is blind, you feel an odd sensation that he is staring right at you, not just at you, but into you. You suddenly feel less comfortable, violated in some slight way, naked almost. So, what of a non-duality then? Well, it is foreign and not welcomed as a concept to either of the extremists. Why? because letting go of these attachments would mean a loss of identities. Yes, their precious fucking conceited identities. So why even stop and ponder then? Why contemplate issues that never were a bother to you? Why build castles in the air? Because this needs to be addressed in order to understand the order here. The purpose, the answer, the darkness you find yourself, and all that holds in here. This place we name Seul, all the baker has built, the outside, where the crumbs dwell, les crumbs. From those fucking Lumina to Wrigley, the origin place, or over there. So many characters to play, so many answers to find. But I tell you this, Drifter, here, Seul, where this darkness sits, it's really the connector to the key of them all, the glue. Would you like to hear what the answer is? Yes? Okay. Seeing that this is starting to get a little long, we are going to pick up right here in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I definitely say check this out. So far it's very intriguing. It's a narrative, a psychological narrative, and it looks like there might be different endings. I'm not too sure. Based on like the beginning of the story, there might be different endings.